wants a relatively peaceful life in the material world. You can never have completely peaceful, not possible. Not possible, nature of the world. Because there must be birth, there must be death. You can never be totally peaceful. There must be some, you become sick, so many things. But now, of course, in the Kali Yuga, it's very extreme. And this is because of the very simple activities. There's so much reaction going on, and practically there's no need to describe how the situation in the world is becoming more and more intolerable, and it will get worse in the Kali Yuga. It will become worse, even in a few years, in just a few 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, it's becoming so much intolerable to live in so many countries of the world. But generally speaking, the material world, Prabhupada actually said that one who is actually a Vaishnava, it is not for the Vaishnava gentleman, this material world, he said. The Vaishnava who is actually a proper civilized person and a gentleman, it is not the fit place for such a person. Better that the Vaishnava endeavors to go back home, back to Godhead. Now what Lord Kapila Dev is talking about, those who are actually following the Karmakanda section of the Veda, they have, now each Varna, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, so they have prescribed duties according to their Varna, and you'll have prescribed duties according to your ashram. There'll be very specific prescribed duties for Brahmanas, Kshatriyas. There are overall prescribed duties for everyone. It is a mix of overall for all the Varnas, all the ashrams have overall prescribed duties. Prabhupada says, yes, there are rules and regulations to living in the world. If you want to live in the world, and especially with so many others living in the world, you have to cooperate with each other. So there are certain boundaries. Just like in the country, in the city, there are so many rules. If it was just no rules, it would be just chaos. Sometimes we complain about the rules, but if there were no rules, they decided no more traffic lights anywhere, no more this, no more that, just drive wherever you want on the road, it'll become nearly like India. No, there's rules in India also. I just came from India just a few days ago, and there everyone drives in any part of the road practically, but they're not stopping for the lights. But now they're following more these days. When we were first going to India, it was just wild. So, but imagine no rules. No lights, no, you can drive this side of the road, that side, you're going along and someone's coming directly at you. So it'll be a very chaos situation, very chaos. So every society needs some rules, some regulations. And so even in the city, in the suburb, in the state, in the country, in all the countries of the world, it must be like that. And in the universe. And so specifically, for all the human beings, especially, it is given that these are the prescribed. Now, of course, in the modern era, there are man-made rules. So these rules are sometimes working, sometimes not working. They're full of so many mistakes. They're making some rule, and then they find that rule is not so good, they have to change it and do some other rule, or that rule we tried it, but it became very chaotic, we have to change it. So constantly that is going on, because these rules are made by imperfect beings, after all. Human beings in the conditioned state are full of the imperfection. So anything that is brought in by the human beings, of course they are trying their best, but because they're in ignorance, they don't know what is the best system, they're making so many mistakes and everyone has to suffer. But as far as living in the world and a progressive lifestyle, the Vedic instructions are there. And here Lord Kapila Dev is talking about those particular persons who follow them, but actually they're following their prescribed rules and regulations, but they're following them in a very materialistic way. They are following them just to enjoy more in the material. If one follows them in the higher way, yes, okay, you have to live in a certain way, you follow them, but there are other prescriptions that elevate you to becoming more detached from the materialistic way of life and more attached to the spiritual. The one is called Pavriti Marga and the other one is called Nivriti Marga. So generally these people that is described here by Lord Kapil, they're following more the Pavriti Marga. Nivriti Marga means you're living in the world. After all, you have to follow some rules and regulations, but your path is more of the detachment. Just out of necessity you're following as much as necessary to the best of your ability, but your main goal is nivriti, is detachment. So Prabhupada explains this very nicely in Bhagavad Gita also. He says there are two paths. One is called Svadharma, and the other one is called Sanatan Dharma. They are like the two tracks of the train. The train has to have the two tracks while going on to the destination. And when the train goes to the destination, can't go one track, can't go the other track, has to go the two tracks. So what is Svadharma? What is your occupational duty? That people have to follow. What are your duty? What is said? What are the instructions? You have to follow those things. And in Sanatan Dharma, what are your practices for elevating yourself to Nivriti Marga, to the spiritual level? So these things have to be followed also, just like we as devotees, Vaishnava devotees, Gaudiya Vaishnavas very much like to follow Dhammadarashtaka and the month of Kartik. These are certain activities that the Vaishnavas do for their spiritual life. And actually, all persons should do activities for the spiritual life. So on one side is material, you look after your family, you have to do like that. You have to have the house, you have to have the car, you have to go to the work, children have to go to the school, all these things. There are certain rituals that you can follow, given, that are very helpful for that, bring auspiciousness to that type of activity, but on the other side there are other activities. So both together, parallel. Of course, when one gets more older, then one becomes a more retired person, vanaprastha, and then of course total detachment. Then one goes more on the Sanatan Dharma, the spiritual. This is a natural system given by Krishna of the Varnashrama. One goes more on that side, the Sanatan Dharma. Of course, we are following Pachatriki Marga and we are following Bhagavad Marga side by side. Also, within that system, there are different things to understand as far as being devotees, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But very much we like to follow all these things. So now we've got the wonderful month of Kartik. We are doing the Dhammadarashtaka prayers. We are offering the lamp. We are doing so many other activities. But all year we're doing. But of course this month we're doing extra. So this is very good. This gives one a progressive march on the path of spiritual liberation, spiritual advancement. But here Lord Kapila Dev is talking about those who just concentrate on the material. They're doing these rituals just to enhance their material life. I always remember the story, Hari Sori told me that he was with Prabhupada, and they were in the train in India, and Prabhupada had a compartment. But Prabhupada was a little ill-disposed, he was not feeling well. So when Prabhupada went anywhere, so many people wanted to come and get his blessings, touch his feet. And so because Prabhupada was a little ill, Hariswami was not letting anyone come in the compartment. Now, there were those who wanted to come in. They said, he looks like a sadhu. He was also a little famous at that time. So many wanted to come in, but he wasn't allowing. There were three men who were really pushing. They wanted to come in to see Prabhupada. So he said, no, Prabhupada is not feeling well. He's not seeing anyone. They were just waiting there. And so, but Hariswami had to go out and do some other activity. And so while he was out, they came in. And so then he came back and he was telling me they were talking to Prabhupada. And so Prabhupada at one point he said, so how can I help you. And one man said, Swami, please bless me that my business becomes more better. And that now is not so good. Please bless me my business. I can make a lot of money like that. And the other one says, Swami, my son at the school is not doing very well. Please bless that my son does more better in the school. And the other one was saying, Swami, I have some health problem and my knee is giving problem. Please bless me that my knee will not give any more problem. So Prabhupada, he looked, he said, this is not the question, the blessings you have to ask the sadhu, he said. He said, Ashi Baba Baba. he said, Ashi Baba. I am not the professional blessings giver, he said. He said, I am not Ashi Baba Baba. He said like that. He said, I am not the Baba who does like that. He said, when you come to the Guru, you don't ask material things. You ask for the spiritual advancement. If you want the son to do better in the school, you go to the teacher who is an expert in that area. They can help you there. If you have some health problem, go to the doctor. If you have some business, go to the business consultant. When you come to the Guru, don't ask these things. You ask, how can I go more quickly spiritually? These are the proper questions to ask the Guru, not these other things. So I will not give blessings for these things. But blessings I will give for your spiritual advancement. These blessings I will give. I always remember that story. So we should be like that. And indeed, actually, when you're with Prabhupada, I remember, you have to be very careful in what sort of conversation you had with him. or what questions you ask, especially. You have to be careful. If it was just nonsense. I remember one boy came in, and he was a visitor, and he was talking, he was in Juhu, and Mumbai was there, and Prabhupada was giving darshan in the afternoon. So one Westerner was visiting, and so Prabhupada said yes. He asked him who he was and where he was from, and you have any idea what is the spiritual life? He said, well, Swami, I think that, I think if you go back in the history of the civilization, I think that actually it all came from those pyramids in Egypt. He said, I think that actually those pyramids, the aliens came. And the aliens, they constructed the pyramids. And actually they are the super race. So he was going on talking like this. The Prabhupada listened to what he said. Then he stopped, he interrupted, he said, this is a nonsense thing. They're all nonsense speculations. Like that. Even we had to, someone came in, I remember in Melbourne, Prabhupada, in devotee, and said that, I have this scene in gospel, where in this gospel of the Christian, it says Jesus, he was the vegetarian and he went to the India and so many things like that. And Prabhupada said, well, maybe perhaps, we don't know exactly. Maybe it is correct, maybe not, but we don't follow these things so much. We stick to Srimad Bhagavatam, we stick to Bhagavad Gita, we stick to these things. Then he said, then we're on the solid ground. Because if you're using these other books, maybe it is right, maybe it's not right. So if then someone who's a very more expert comes and then challenges, then you'll be in a difficult position. They know actually what is the situation, and they challenge you, and then you don't know exactly, then you will be in a difficult situation. So then devotees mainly they stick to Gita, Bhagavatam, he said like that, these things. These are the essential Vedic, the Vedic literatures, these things. And in fact, actually, I remember one yagya, initiation yagya. Normally in the yagya, technically you can do like this. In each corner of the yagya, you have some priests. One is reading from the Rig Veda, one is in the other corner is Sama Veda, Atharva Veda, Yajur Veda. And the four corners can be like that. And for Prabhupada, he had us reading one corner Bhagavad Gita, one corner Srimad Bhagavatam, Nectar of Devotion, like that. He had us reading. He said, these are the essence. Yes, these others are so much good work, but these books are the essence of all that. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, all these books by the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas give us the essence of all the Vedic. Because if you just try to read yourself, maybe you become very confused. There's very vast literature, one has to have the proper teacher for understanding these things. But nevertheless, as I was talking, Lord Kapila is talking about this one who's following the rituals, but he's interested in making more better life in this world. Or maybe he's interested better life, in this world, and maybe in next life I want to be elevated to the heaven, go to the Svaga. So very attached. He's just he's maybe living very materialistic life. Every now and again he's doing some rituals, but even these rituals are for more materialistic life. He's doing this ritual, this ceremony, this yagya, or to get that thing, to get the other thing. And just like these men came to see Prabhupada, I want to do more business. Now I remember one time recently in the last cricket World Cup, and that was another cricket World Cup, isn't it? But before, a few years back, I was at the airport. I forget which, maybe Mumbai or one of the airports, domestic, and I was sitting, and I was sitting and waiting to go on the plane, and there was a big screen there, all these big screen. On the big screen, it was in Hindi, I couldn't understand exactly, but there was the Indian cricket team, and then there were some Brahmanas, and there's some Brahmanas, they were doing the yagya. The Brahmanas were doing the yagya. So one man, they were doing so many things. I asked the man next to me, what they are doing there? And he said, even he said, that's some nonsense thing. He said that the Brahmanas, they are doing some yagya so India can win the World Cup. India can win. And even he said, that's a nonsense thing. This is a nonsense thing. So people are interested for this. They want to do the yagya to win this, to win that. This is not the actual purpose. The yagya is, okay, you live in the world, but you gradually elevate yourself. And so Lord Kapila Dev, he's condemning these types of persons. One should not do these types of activities. This is misusing the purpose of these rituals. Maybe these Brahmanas got paid a lot of money or something like that probably. And they did it. They know how to do and put the names in of the Indian cricket players. But I don't know exactly how they will do. They're doing one yagya and you can put the name in. So many yagyas here you can do. You can put the name of the yajaman, the person who is sponsoring there. You put the name in and give the benefit like that. So, so not like that. So Lord Kapila Dev, he's condemning. He's saying that these Trivakika, they're very interested in elevating themselves, following these things. But actually they're very materialistically attached, and they are condemned because they are averse. When it comes to these things, they're very interested. When it comes to the spiritual activity, they have no interest. And Prabhupada, of course, he gives the example here of the hog. The hog, we don't have so many hogs just going in the street here in Australia. Very rare. I don't think they will allow any pig just to run around. But in India it's very common. You see everywhere, especially you see Vrindavan or so many places. They're very common. And the pig, the hog, just likes to go in the mud. What does the hog like to do? He likes to go in the mud, roll in the dirt. He likes to go in the dirty place. He's looking for the stool. He likes to eat the stool. Actually, I remember reading many years ago how someone who's living the life like the hog, say someone is a human being, and he's just not discriminating what he eats. He eats anything and everything. That doesn't discriminate. And at the end of the life of being a very simple person, he goes to the Yamaraj and he gets the punishment. The next life he must have to become like the hog. He has to become in a pig's body next life. Because in the human life, he's lived like the pig. So next life he must become, but before he goes there, he's given a subtle body, he goes to a certain place, he is fed different things to prepare him. This is in the Bhagavatam. He is fed different things, different types of food and different types of stool. He's given that in the beginning, don't give it. It's a very suffering thing, giving the stool to eat. But he's forced, so prepare him. And then after some time, he is taking it, and then it gives the different types of stool. And then when he comes to the point where he's fed the stool, and he says, don't give me that stool, I like this other stool better. Then, this one is ready. This one is ready. He is discriminating between this not so good stool and the more better stool. Then now he can become in the hog body. He can go there. And so you see that the hogs have some discrimination in one sense because they like the fresh stool rather than the old stool. And sometimes I remember in Vrindavan I saw that some little girl was passing stool and the hog was just nearby waiting to get that stool because fresh. Very unpalatable. But the hog actually makes discrimination like that. So someone who lives their life like the hog, just eating everything and anything. This is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also. Yes, yata yama gata rasam. The rasam, the taste, is for horrible things. So the human beings who are very much in the mode of ignorance, they like food as very horrible things for those in the mode of goodness. Like Prabhupada says here, the pig, you can, if the pig comes and if you have on one plate rasmalai, rasgulla, gulab jamun, sweet rice, and on other plate you have stool, you put it there, which one do you think he will go? He will go the stool. Because he's accustomed, he's habituated to eating that thing. He'll prefer the stool over the gulab jamun. Over the gulab jamun. I always remember one story about the gulab jamun. There's one man, Prabhupada tells this story. He told the story in my book one time. He told this story, he said one man went to the field to pass stool. And so he sat, and after he was passing the stool, he looked down in disgust at the stool. And the stool looked up at him and was talking. He said, why are you looking at me like that? Before I had contact with you, I was a nice gulab jamun. Now what I've become. Prabhupada says it's just like us, the living entity comes to the material world, enters into so many different body, now what I've become. What I've become. Before I was pure spirit soul with Krishna, enjoying so much rasa, nectar. There's nectar. Param drishva nivartate, the nectar, just nectar. Rasa. I remember one class Guru Govinda Maharaj gave, he said that the people in the world, they are not rasika. They are not rasika, like we have rasika devotees, very high, getting the rasa, getting the nectar. But they are vairashika. He said, vairashika, they're the opposite thing. They have no taste. They have no taste. I remember one time here in Sydney when Prabhupada, he gave the lecture at the town hall one time we advertised. Not so many people, some people can, but not so many. In the end Prabhupada said, yes. He said that's because they have no taste. They have no taste for the spiritual topics. They are just interested in the material things. So someone who's just the whole life, just material things, that to them, to any offer anything spiritual is a very horrible thing. No, I don't like that thing. So one who is just like a person who is very addicted in the mode of ignorance, they like horrible things. Even old food, they'll eat even old food that is very decomposed. They'll just eat anything. Sometimes you see that those who are very drunk people, they're just living in the street, they're going through the garbage. They're going in the garbage, they're looking if some old piece of food is there, even it's been there 1 week, still they will eat it. So quite often, when we were in King's Cross, when we first went to King's Cross, there was a more low area, and there were many drunks there. And you'd see them all the time, they were going through the bin. And they're just taking anything. You used to see them getting something from the bin, they're just eating. Correct. So they like it. It's not that they don't like it, they like it. I saw one man, his fate become, I found something, that nice thing. They like it. If we're looking, right in the rubbish, we're looking. So the devotee doesn't like it. No. The devotee, you can't, you offer the devotee some meat thing, horrible. So, unfortunately, all over the world, everyone is eating the meat, old food, so many horrible things. In India also, India, unfortunately, so many people have gone to that. One devotee was telling me he's a Brahmin family, and he went home after 25 years. He went to his village. He said before everyone was vegetarian practically, hardly anyone meat. So I went back again. Everyone meat eating now, practically. And India now has become number 3 country of the world for exporting the meat. Number 3 on how much meat exports. So things are, Kali Yuga is coming. And so people like these things. If you offer nice things, they will prefer the other thing. So the food that is decomposed, old, here Krishna tells, Jata Jaman Katarasam Puti Ayusitam Chayat, Puti, bad smelling, proper also. Puti means bad smelling thing. But to them they like it. They like it. So this is an unfortunate situation because of their previous habits. They've become like that. They don't like the nice things, and it is mentioned also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Nayad Bachaschita Param Areyeso Jagat Pravitam Brankinita Kachit Tadvayasham Ushanti Manasha Nayataham Shananaman Ishiksha. There are 2 different types of birds. One is the swan, and one is the crow. The swan likes nice places. You'll find the swan in the park, in the lake. Nice swan, they're a very beautiful looking bird. They like there. And then the other type of bird is the crow. The crow doesn't like this. The crow likes the rubbish. You always see the crow, they're fighting over the rubbish area, isn't it? So the crow likes that area. The swan, you won't find swan there. Swan goes nice area, and the crow goes that area. So the 2 different birds. So in the Bhagavatam it said that the swan-like persons, they're actually devotees. They doesn't like the crow-like area. They doesn't like the crow. So, of course, when we first come, we don't have much taste for these things. We still have some taste for the materialistic things. But gradually, chanting more Hare Krishna, it is like the person who's got the jaundice. He's sick. He's got the jaundice. Now the jaundice, everything when you taste it tastes bitter. Even you give the sugar to the jaundice, sometimes they give the sugar to the jaundice, and then in the beginning it tastes bitter because he's sick. But if you keep taking, then after some time when he gets more better, he will be able to taste the sweet of the sugar. They give sometimes some lolly with some medication inside, and that is sweet. And in the beginning it's like, oh, he doesn't want to take because he's got the jaundice. But after some time, it'll taste sweet. So when we first come, maybe we're not so attracted. We don't the chanting. We don't like chanting. But you just do it, and gradually trying to follow everything nicely and associating with the devotees. Then you get the taste, and when your taste is very high, then you'll be so absorbed. You'll be crying for Krishna. You'll be crying for Krishna. Your heart will melt. Your heart will become very soft. They actually mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam that someone who chants Hare Krishna and he doesn't cry, that means that person's heart is like the stone. So we are not ready on that. Of course, one can't try to be artificial, just trying to make a show. Chanting and just crying, but artificially just make that'll come later, just naturally. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was crying, and Haridas Thakur crying, so many devotees crying, but very elevated to it. And that will come. We have to follow the process, and that the goal should be like that. We should not come into this category as described here by Lord Kapila, that condemned type person. They can do it, because they don't think themselves condemned. They think themselves very nice civilization. I've got nice house, nice car, nice everything. Why I should be concerned about any other thing? They become very complacent. They become too addicted. You offer some nice thing that doesn't want to take it. So that's very unfortunate. But slowly, they are in the jaundice position. We can give them the Krishna consciousness, and they become out of the condemned on the path of the liberation, on the path back home, back to Godhead. So, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Does anyone have any questions? Comment? Yes, Prabhu. Sorry? Oh.
My question is that we hearing from you about how one is the knowledge condition that you continue taking the sweet. So you can kind of gradually continue to take the sweet. But there's an impatience in which
There's what?
impatience.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you overcome
That is also a mode of ignorance. The impatience is a sign of mode of passion or ignorance. And so that means if we're like that, that means we've still got the effect of some modes of material nature. You'll be impatient. That's all you see in the materialists. They're very impatient. Everything has to be quick. They're quick. They can't even they can't give attention for 5 minutes. 5 minutes too long. Taking too long. They lose interest. Move to the next thing. So that is a symptom of materialistic person, mode of passion especially. So when we first come to Krishna consciousness, even after practicing for some time, still there can be some residual impatience there due to the lingering effects of the mode of passion and ignorance. But therefore, by good intelligence, by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing from the sadhus, hearing from the guru, by associating and hearing and associating and doing, following the, then the intelligence becomes more strong. The spiritual intelligence, not the material, spiritual intelligence. And then the intelligence becomes so strong that when this impatience comes up, the intelligence says, "Oh, it's a nonsense thing, this impatience. This impatience is a nonsense thing. I will not be impatient, I will be patient and continue." So we have to develop our pure spiritual intelligence so then we can be guided to not be affected. Because these things will come up. We have to expect. Because immediately we're not coming to the Mahabhagavad platform. Sometimes due to pride also we have this thing. Impatience and pride. Because of our pride. We're very proud. I'm very good. I've got so many qualifications. I've taken up this Krishna consciousness. I have a BA, MA, PhD. I should be very quickly. And go to the top level. I already in the material, I came to the top level, why not here? But then because of pride also, you can thinking you become impatient. So many reasons why you become impatient. So it's expected in the beginning you will be like that, but then with following all these things that I described, your spiritual intelligence will control your mind that's restless, giving rise to this impatience. But sometimes there's a tug of war. The intelligence wants to go there, the mind, the impatience wants to go like that. So you have to just keep pushing and always stay in the association of devotees and listen to the sadhus and gurus and like that. Then that will be more helpful. If you just try it by yourself, it'll be very difficult. Actually, we really can't make it by ourselves. We're not strong enough. We have to together. That's why Prabhupada did this program. Only very rare persons by themselves, they can actually attain liberation by themselves. Especially in this age of Kali. So by ourselves, we have to take help, and we have to be humble enough to admit that we want the help. If we're too puffed up, then I don't need any help. Why do I need help? I'm already very qualified. No. Then you won't be able to advance. So then some sort of humility must be there, and that humility will come a certain extent that in the association of the devotees. Then gradually that will grow. So all these things will grow. So my cultivation, all these things, naturally this impatience, which it actually comes from the mode of passion and ignorance, will be overcome. Hare Krishna. Okay? Thank you very much. All glory to Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai, Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo.